Property development is a generic term for all things development. And what I want to do in this video is really talk about the two distinct areas of property development so that you have an understanding of what the differences are. So the generic term being property development encompasses everything, and then a segment of that is ground up property development. So let's look at ground up property development first of all. This essentially means that there is usually not an existing building there, and it means that you are then going to create that structure. So in order to be involved in ground up property development, what you need to do is you need to first of all be able to source the land. You then need to be able to take it through planning permission. Sometimes you will acquire land that has planning permission already in place, although generally that is going to be more expensive land than land that does not have planning permission in place. Once you've got permission in place, then you are going to plan your build, and then the next thing you're going to do is actually build out your build, and then you're going to move on to your exit strategy. Now your exit strategy may be to sell on the property, or it may be to retain the property and rent it out to add to your rental portfolio. So that essentially talks about ground up property development, and we'll come back to that in a moment. The second area is we're going to talk about property development in general, and so as distinct from ground up, the property development can be considered of where there's an existing building and you're converting that building or renovating that building. So for instance, let's talk about renovation. So you have a single family home which is become dated, in need of modernizing. You buy that particular property, it's already in place. You then carry out a renovation, and again you have an exit strategy of either selling that on and hopefully making a profit, or you retain that for your residential property investment portfolio. The second area still in the same sort of areas, you take over an existing building, perhaps it's a commercial building, such as maybe an office area. You then apply for planning, or you may be able to convert that with permitted development rights. You're not going to be able to do that in Scotland, incidentally, but you can do that in the rest of the UK, and you may be able to then move ahead with that, convert it into residential units, and again your exit strategy may be to sell that on, or it may be to add that to your rental portfolio. The sort of like the third area in terms of that type of development, and again would be perhaps using permitted developments. So we'll take a situation where there is a building, maybe an agricultural building in the countryside, which generally you wouldn't get planning for in order to put in a residential property. But if you can build something within the existing footprint by still retaining some of the original structure, then again that may be allowed through permitted development rights. And you can also have the situation which goes back to ground up property development, where you've got that you can't use any of this existing infrastructure, but if you build within the current footprint of that building, then you may be able to get planning under the regulations of permitted developments. It's not permitted development allowed within the countryside, and that's something that you can do in Scotland, incidentally. But there's all sorts of criteria that you need to understand on that. So let's look again at ground up property development. So the first thing is we talked about that you need to find land, and within that land, one of the things that you need to be very careful about is the actual the usability of that land. So there's lots of considerations that you need to think about that you wouldn't with an existing structure. So for instance, I'll give you an example for where will you get the supply for electricity. Now there could be electricity in the area, and you would think, well, actually I can tap into that, but it could be that there's not enough capacity, and therefore you may have to bring in the electricity to that development. Particularly if it was a larger development, a single house, maybe perhaps not. But if you're talking about multiple houses, and I'm talking about as small as maybe 4 houses, I know of a situation where a bunch of self-builders acquired this piece of ground. They split it up between the 4 of them, but then they got a shock that they actually had to bring the electricity supply, even though it was in that area servicing another house, there wasn't the capacity, and they had to bring a new electricity supply across a field of about 1.5 miles, adding considerable cost to their development costs. So there's lots of things that you need to be able to consider. Not only consider that in the initial stages, but also in the stages of when you actually start to break ground, because even though you can have ground investigation reports carried out, there's no certainty that even with the foundations that have been designed by a structural engineer, that they are going to 100% work, because you may find some soft spots in the ground conditions or other things in the ground conditions that then require a redesign of or a modification to those foundations. So there is some caution there. However, what I would say is that once you've got out of the ground, then you're fairly certain of what your costs are going to be. Conversely, if we go back to the existing buildings, one of the problems that you may have there is that until you strip walls back, you may find other things that you were not aware of when you did the initial survey or the initial investigation. So there could be things such as dry rot that was not detected. There could be dampness that is not being detected. So there's lots of things there that you need to be concerned with. You may need to be actually improving the structure in order to be able to hold the new plan that you're going to put in place. So for instance, if you take a larger building that you are going to convert into residential units, one of the things that you're going to have to be able to do, because it's more than one single unit standing on its own, you're going to have to be having that soundproofed. So you're going to have to put soundproofing in, and the testing of that can only be done once you've actually completed that fit out. You're going to have to put in fire precautions. That could be fire doors, it could be fire escapes, it could be the stairwell going in there may need to be improved. So there's lots of cost implications in that side also that you need to take into account. Now, I'll be honest, I have really no real experience on doing conversions and doing refurbishments. I've done some refurbishments in the past, but this is probably about 20 years ago now. I got into ground up property development because I found that that was the most lucrative part within the property development industry. And the key thing in property development, ground up property development, is finding land and funding your deals. With the regular property development, you also need to be able to find your deals and you need to be able to fund them. And one of the big difficulties on that side is actually having enough opportunities, because there's so many people looking for those opportunities that it becomes quite hard to actually find those opportunities at a viable price. The difference is with ground up property development is finding land, again, can be very difficult if you're looking online for it, because it's going to be generally too expensive, and that's why we recommend that you look for off-market land. And if that interests you and you would like us to show you how, then we have a new program that is launching very soon. You can find join our wait list, so there'll be a link up here and in the description below. Join our wait list. This is going to be a fully supported program. We're going to take you through the whole entire process, from finding the land to putting to basically negotiating the deal with the landowner and securing it. So you'll have that whole process. We're going to run it on a cohort basis, meaning that while you go through each of the modules, and there's 9 modules that we're going to take you through, And the modules essentially cover from understanding what the planners are looking for, finding that land, contacting the landowner, and then going through a process of making sure that you've evaluated all the cost implications, that you then negotiate the deal, and then you secure it legally, and then finally that you are able to fund the deal. So we'll go through each of those modules, as I said, over 9 weeks. We will also have a weekly question and answer session, and there'll be other aspects to this program that we're still putting together. So we'll be launching that fairly soon. So again, if you want to join us, join the wait list, and we will have a training or webinar coming up where we will explain the whole thing, the pricing and everything else. But in the meantime, if you join that wait list, we will keep you informed of further developments. Plus, we're giving away some free information, some free tools that we use for those that have joined our wait list. And it instantly puts you at the front of the queue. This is going to be very much restricted to a very small group of people, somewhere between 10 and 15 people. 15 will be the absolute maximum. We haven't quite decided exactly how many to restrict that to. So again, if you're interested, then put your details onto the wait list, and we will let you know when that is occurring. So if you've enjoyed this video, there's plenty of other videos around this channel. There's almost 200 videos now. We've been going for 2 or 3 years, probably 3 or 4 years actually. So there's lots of content on here for you to absorb. And if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps us in no end of a way, and encourage us to make more videos. Until the next time, take care, and I look forward to speaking to you then. Bye bye.